The Monday after the draft, we have undrafted free agents. We have our draft. Now the Dolphins finish off the roster. What is up, Finn fans? I told you guys I would do this video today, and I am doing this video today. We're going to look at possible additions of free agents that are still out there, possible additions of possible trades, and some updates to the cap space, how much money we could have come June 1st, which is a month away. 31 days away is June 1st. And keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next 60 days, for the next 30 days, because things might be happening. But let's jump into this. We're going to talk about, first I'm going to talk about free agents that are still out there. And then when I go to trades, I know some of you guys are probably sick of it, being that I do talk about, I like how I talked about the right tackle position. But I have a quote here about a certain running back that maybe people are sick and tired of me talking about. So let's talk about free agents that are out there. Free agents that are possibly out there that the Dolphins can bring in. And I'm only really talking about offensive linemen because there are no tight end free agents out there that are worth bringing in here. Like there's McCole Pruitt. He's a 31-year-old tight end. There's no point in bringing him in. Just leave that alone unless the Dolphins somehow trade for a tight end or whatever. It seems like the Dolphins are going to ride with whatever tight ends they have. Am I happy about that? Not really, but we'll see how that all pans out. So you have Dalton Risner, offensive guard. He was with the Denver Broncos. He's only 27, right? He's had a good year with pass blocking and year with run blocking. Guard. Now, if we're iffy about that left guard spot with, Freeney or Affini or Liam Eichenberg or, anybody that we possibly brought in, there's Dalton Risner, right? And he knows our offensive line coach. He's, been with him last year. And again, like I said, he's only 27, good at pass blocking, and he's all right at run blocking. And then there's Taylor Lewan, 31. He did have a conversation. Chris Greer came out on the 28th, which was Friday, and said, yes, I did talk to Taylor Lewan's people, and I asked them, just an idea. Hey, how's he doing? That's essentially what they do. When GMs call the free agents, some of these vets, some of these older vets, agents, it's more they're trying to see how he's doing. Is he in shape? What has he been up to? And how is he physically? That's all they're doing. They're just putting a probe out there. Okay. And then they move on. That's all he did. Called him up, said, hey, how's Taylor doing? How's his injury? What has he been up to? All right. We'll keep in touch. That's all he did. Put feelers out there. Because there's that story of that Dolphin fan. He was at another sport. He was upset, visibly upset. I think it was a baseball game. And Taylor Lewan was like, don't worry. I talked. The Dolphins called me. That doesn't mean crap. Then we have Cameron Fleming, who met with the team. Very good pass blocking. He was okay in run blocking. That's a possibility. Bringing in Cameron Fleming, I would go, okay, all right. I'm all right with that. Like, I'm not like, woo, you brought in, the thousands of names I named, but I'm feeling better with Cameron Fleming. He is 30, but he knows what he's doing, right? And then the Austin Jackson, he's going to compete with him, and best wins, gets the starting spot. I feel a little bit better. And then Brandon Shell. You can bring Brandon Shell back. We all know about Brandon Shell. He did have some olays against the Browns. It's Brandon Shell. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But I fully expect the Dolphins to bring in a veteran right tackle. Now, the left guard spot doesn't worry me as much because it's not the blind side. And also you have, I said this, a few days ago, you have Connor Williams and you have Teron Armstead on either side. So I'm all right with that. It's that right tackle spot, that blind side. That's why I wanted, Blake Freeland and some of these other guys I was naming during the draft. That worries me. So let's free agents. I have 4 names. Dalton Risner, Taylor Lewan, Cameron Fleming, Brandon Shaw. Offensive lineman. 1 guard, who's pretty good, but if they don't bring him in, I'm all right with that. Gave you 3 tackles. Give me one of those 3. I'm right. I prefer Cameron Fleming. Out of the 3, if I had to pick, Cameron Fleming. He had a better year last year. But yeah. Then we go to the trades, right? And before we go to the trades, I want to give you guys a cap update. Right now, we're sitting at about 2.7 million. After June 1st, we get 13.6 million. If the Dolphins trade Cedric Wilson Jr., which seems like a possibility, right? I kept talking about a possibility. And if you ever notice when I tell you these things, like when I talk about Dalvin Cook trade or when I talk about possible trades, I never say they're going to happen. I say there's a possibility. And I let you guys know what I know, and then you make your decision. If they do trade Cedric Wilson, it's another $7 million. And say in this 30 days before June 1st, they finally come to a contract extension for Cedric Wilson, for Christian Wilkins. He's got like a 10 point something million dollar cap hit. They'll probably like knock it all the way down and, you know, be like, hey, look, take about $3 million. We'll give you this huge signing bonus and we'll spread out your contract. Probably save about $7 million. So you take the 2.7 we have now and the 13.6 we're getting 13. I don't know what that was. 13.6 we're getting from Byron and the 7 of 7. June 1st we'll have $30.3 million. It's a lot of money to play with. Now, are they going to use it all? No, they need it for next year for re-signing free agents or whatever they need to do. But they also might need it for 3 names I'm about to talk about. I'm going to talk about that specific running back you guys are probably really tired of me talking about last, because there's an article from Barry Jackson I want to talk about, and they also talk about Jalen Ramsey possibly switching to safety. So 2 tackles from Cincinnati. You have Jonah Williams. He's 25. He had a down year last year. He's going to cost about $12.6 million this year, and it's his last year on his contract, his rookie contract, 5th year. Again, $30.3 million if they trade for him, or, you know, they can make moves, do what they need to do. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Again, he came out and said he doesn't want to play right tackle, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to be with Cincinnati anymore, being that they brought in Brown. So what would it take? How much would it take? What cap space would it take? I don't know. But it seems like the Dolphins might not go on that venture. But I'm still letting you know about it because Cameron Fleming seems like more of an opportunity, being that they brought him in. And they want to see what they have at Austin Jackson, even though we kind of know. Then you have La'el Collins, right? Tore his ACL and MCL on December 25th. He said he's doing good. No setbacks, ahead of schedule, you know, the usual spiel. He has 2 years left on his contract. He's getting about $9.3 million this year. He could be released, or you could possibly trade for him, but he has to pass a physical if you're going to trade for him, and I think that's why the Cincinnati Bengals are just sitting on him, because he tore his ACL and MCL. What is it, April? Now it's May. About 5 months ago, give or take. So La'el Collins is probably going to be a cut trade, one or the other, but it's going to take a minute. And then we will talk about one other possibility to add to this team to get it better. And you guys, if you're like, oh, God, stop talking about them. I'm sorry, but the more information, the more updates I get, I want to let you guys know. And that is our boy, Florida, Miami native. Is he Miami native? But he's a Florida native. I'm not from Florida, so you guys. Also, congratulations to the Panthers yesterday with that crazy win against the Bruins. I don't watch hockey, but fantastic. My Twitter blew up. Dalvin Cook. Now, this is from Barry Jackson's article. He says Cook is still a possibility. And I told you guys during the draft. I told you guys after the second day, when everyone was like, well, we're not getting Cook now. We took Devon A-Chain. Doug, you were wrong. People literally like get some type of kick out of trying to prove me wrong. I never said we were going to get him. I'm just giving you guys information. I want him. And people want to see me miserable. But yeah, people like, oh, you're wrong, Doug. I get that on Twitter. I have like a few people who like to hope and pray that I'm wrong. I don't get it. He says the Dolphins selection of A-Chain, the highest pick the team has used on running back since 2016, has brought question on whether Miami could still pursue Minnesota Viking All-Pro Dalvin Cook. The Dolphins have had talks surrounding a trade early in the offseason, but seemingly have a full depth chart with Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, and Myles Gaskin also on the roster. But like we've already talked about, and like Barry Jackson already talked about, all of these running backs can be moved. All of these running backs can be moved, traded, cut with barely any cap implication, especially Myles Gaskin, who has no guarantees, and then the other guys have like no guarantees if it happens before June 1st. Asked whether the window was still open to adding a veteran running back, Chris Greer said, and I want you to listen to this. Usually he is. Listen to this. Generally, nothing is off the table. We are really happy with the offseason we had, the players that we are able to keep on the roster, the new ones that we've added, that we added in the draft. And I'm going to emphasize this part, and that we're going to in free agency. Let me read this sentence for you one more time. We're really happy with the offseason we had, the players that we were able to add on this roster, the new ones that we've added in the draft, and that we are going to in free agency. There will always be stuff that we'll investigate because that's our job. So, yes. So again, asked whether the window's still open to adding a veteran running back, he ended that statement. He said that we're going to add in free agency, and he ended it with saying, yes. Dalvin Cook wants to play for Miami. From what I'm hearing, Dalvin Cook is willing to take less money to play for Miami. I'm hearing around $5 to $5.5 million this year versus the 12 he's due to play with Miami. He wants to play for Miami. It's about Miami wanting him. Plain and simple. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I have to tell you. You take with that what you want. But again, Cook wants to play for Miami. Cook is willing to take less money. It's about if Dolphins want to play, if Dolphins want Cook, how badly Dolphins want Cook, and if it's a trade, the compensation. If it's not, we know Minnesota's going to cut him. And if they cut him, Miami's going to go get him. And then the last thing I want to talk about in this video, Dolphins don't see Ramsey switching to safety. Dolphins have a major logjam at cornerback after drafting Smith. Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey are entrenched starters, while Kader Kohou started 13 games as a rookie, and Nick Needham is rehabbing a torn Achilles but anticipates a return in training camp. I hope so. Nick, take it slow. No rush. I would love to see him out there. Him and Trill. Please. Ramsey's versatility set allows him to play in nickel position, and some have projected a possible role at safety. Ramsey, who views himself as a defensive back, there it's in quotes, also teased the possibility on Twitter on Saturday, but Greer and McDaniel said they view him as a corner in defensive coordinator Vic Fangio's scheme. They said no, only because he's really good at corner, so I try not to mess really good up. McDaniel said the cool thing about this defense, the defensive backfield in general, I think Vic has hit this on the head a number of times, but 5 defensive backs on the field, it happens almost 3/4 of the time in the National Football League now. In Vic's defense, in his system, if you understand it, there are a lot of different ways you can get on the field. There are some position versatilities that if you go back to his history, there have been various people that have played in different spots. That has been the discussion, but not with Jalen Ramsey. I would say I think he's a good corner. Yeah, you're going to have Ramsey and you're going to have X. Everyone else is just pieces that be moved around. You probably take Javon Holland, move him up. You could drop Javon Holland back. You could take Brandon Jones, blitz him off this end. And Vic Fangio, literally, he's like, all right, this is who I have now. Okay. All right. So I can take him. I can put him here, and then we can have this exotic blitz. Oh, when are we facing a rookie quarterback? Okay, we're facing a rookie quarterback in this week. Oh, I'm going to mess with his head and do this. And when are we facing Lamar? Okay, we're going to face Lamar here. So I need to have, actually, I'm going to not just have 5. I'm going to put 7, and I'm going to, drop this into coverage. I got to worry about him running. When are we facing this mobile quarterback? Okay, and then I'm going to... He's been scheming for a year. He has been out of football for a year. Yes, he did help the Eagles a little bit, but he's been out of football for a year, and he's just sitting back watching. Oh, we got to face Patrick Mahomes. This is how you shut down Patrick Mahomes. Oh, we have to face Lamar Jackson. This is how you shut down Lamar Jackson. Oh, we got to face Josh Allen. Yeah, this is how you shut him down. He's inaccurate. So if I force him to do this and that, who else are we facing this year? Oh, we got to face Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I used to face him all the time. He's a losing record against my defense. Okay, we're going to. And people make fun of me, and people laugh at me, and people poo-poo at me, poo-poo, when I said, I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers. It was the same reaction. I'm not saying the same quarterback. It's the same reaction I had when Cam Newton went to the Patriots. Go back and watch my reaction. It was this. And look how it panned out. If Aaron Rodgers was still Aaron Rodgers, do you think the Packers would have let him go? Now, I understand they got a good compensation for it. But do you think they still would have let him go? Just think about that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.